Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Arden Studios and welcome back to another YouTube video. So guys, in today's YouTube video, I'm going to be making another anime adventures guide. Now this video is going to be a tutorial on a strategy that uses only 3 units and no mythics, which I used to beat the entire story in the game. I literally was like level 14ish, hopped on, got on Hidden Sand Village, and I beat all the way up to the very last level of Gold Town using the same 3 units, same strategy, level scaling pretty much only through food units, and it was just a huge story grind. So this method does work. I will say I have not tried it on Planet Namek or Shiganshina District, but I'm almost certain it will work on those levels too, because it's just easier levels than, Ghoul City and all. And yeah, before we get into today's video, guys, please leave a like. Let's try to hit 10 likes on this guide, and yeah, please consider subscribing because we're almost at 2k subscribers. But let me get into the video. And I am going to preface one disclaimer, guys. So I say that you can use the strategy to solo every single level, which is technically true. The only complication is going to be that I did struggle on Hidden Sand Village Act 6, and I also struggled on Ghoul City, I believe, Act 2. Now, I'm not certain, but I'm almost certain it was Act 2. And the reason why is because both of these bosses, their ability is just summoning tons of minions, and you'll see that in this guide we are going to be using Erwin as a main boss killer, and it was just way too hard to get rid of them, so I did have to use help with friends who had mythics in order to beat both of these levels. It is possible to beat them. I got very close soloing both of them with this strategy, but you would have to have over-leveled units, and I don't want you guys to have to go out of your way to grind, so keep in mind this will not work on Hidden Sand Act 6 and Ghoul City Act 2. And I realized I forgot to say this, but to get into the units you're gonna need, guys, you're going to want to use Erwin, the legendary, Dio, the legendary, and Speedwagon, the epic. Now, if you want to substitute Speedwagon for Bulma, I don't know if it will work. I've never tried Bulma, I don't even have them. So honestly, I wouldn't risk it. Speedwagon's not too hard to get, so I would just use Speedwagon. But yeah, I'm gonna show you this guide on the very last level of Ghoul City, but keep in mind, this strategy can be used in any single level, and it's pretty generic, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so guys, we are going to be in. Now, the very first thing you guys are going to want to do is go into your settings and make sure auto skip waves is on. You're gonna want this on almost the entire time. And one more thing I forgot to say, guys, is Ghoul City level 6 is probably one of the hardest levels in the game, so there's going to be a lot of extra things I do in this guide, like Erwin buffing and stuff, but if you're doing an earlier level like Hidden Sand Village, you do not need to go that far out of the way. But first things first, you're going to want to get your deal ready to place as soon as possible, and this is why auto skip's important, and wait until you get the amount of cash you need to place him, and place him to make sure he'll kill all the enemies in the first wave. Now, I've done Ghoul City before, so I know placing him right here will kill all of the enemies in the first wave. Now on this level there's only 2 starter enemies, but most of the time there is going to be more, so you're gonna need a good placement. The reason we don't want to let an enemy leak isn't because it will make us lose, it'll just take a lot longer to skip waves, and it's a huge time loss. So we're gonna keep a 1 Dio at base placed down, and then once you get the money, you're gonna want to place down your second Dio, and you'll be really close to being able to buy a third. Now, once you get all 3 base Dios placed down, you can go into farming, and you basically do want to max out your farm. I'll show you how I do it. I'm not sure if this is the most efficient way. I like to place down all my farms first, and then I like to just go ahead and upgrade them one by one throughout the waves. Now, there will be a rough midpoint no matter the world where you're gonna maybe want to upgrade your Dios a few times, but I'll get there when it's needed. And to demonstrate farming once again, let's get rid of these ghouls real quick. All you guys are going to want to do is upgrade. I think there's probably a better way to farm, but this is how I do it, and it worked for me, so it should work for you guys too. If you're really struggling though, go ahead and look up a better way to farm. And one more thing, if the level looks much easier for me than it does for you guys, that's just because my units are higher level, but I will let you guys know I was able to beat the final level of Tokyo Ghoul with a Dio that was around level like 57, and my Erwin was level 55, so Erwin levels are less important. Actually, they're not less important, they're probably more important for the story than Dio levels. It's really your choice which one you prioritize, but level up whatever unit you feel like, and if you're feeding all of the food you get from doing the story to a specific unit, it should keep on staying at the right level for the progression. So now I'm gonna wait Once we get to the 2,500 yen upgrade on Speedwagon, this is where I'm gonna start upgrading my Dio again. So the Aragiri subordinate, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, I haven't actually watched Tokyo Ghoul. These guys are pretty strong, so Dio probably won't be able to solo it. And keep in mind, if anything leaks, it does not matter, because we are going to place Erwin once we max out all our farms. But what I like to do now is I like to go ahead and buy 2 of the 3 Speedwagon upgrades, and any extra money you have, use it to upgrade one of your Dios. This subordinate is definitely going to leak, which is a-okay, because we are going to kill it with Erwin later on. It just means this is going to take a little bit longer. You shouldn't have this problem on earlier levels, but all I'm going to do now, guys, is, as you guys can see, I got enough cash. I'm going to manually upgrade my Dio one more time, just to make sure that they can keep up with the enemies. And yeah, if I look like I'm struggling at all, it is because this is the hardest level in the game currently, but trust me, guys, if you're doing like Hidden Sand Village or Snowy Town, you're not going to struggle at all. Or you're gonna struggle very little. You can honestly do those levels with this strat and you don't even have to farm. So I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly max out my farms now and meet back with you guys in a second. Okay, so the wave has ended, I've maxed out my farms, and as you can see, a heavy amount of enemies are leaking. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to move this Dio up to the front to have more front DPS, and then I like to place down all 3 of my Erwins, and only focus on upgrading 1. I just immediately go full send on the 1 Erwin. I use Dedicate Your Hearts to get the damage boost. You don't need to do this for most levels, but in some of the later levels, it actually is going to be very important. And now that we do have our Erwins placed down, this is going to be a lot easier for us. Maxing out the farms is honestly the second hardest part of this strat. We'll get to the hardest part in a bit, but all you're going to want to do is max out your Erwins one by one, and also in the meantime get your Dios all up to the upgrade right before Road Roller. You're going to want to get them all to upgrade 3. Even if you have extra cash, don't buy Road Roller. I don't know if it's better, but from my experience, using upgrade 3 Dio is actually a way better idea, because you're killing all the enemies in the front anyway. Now, I will buy Road Roller at one point on one of the Dios, but I'll explain it then. But basically, once you've maxed out all your farms, your main goal is just going to be getting all your Dios to upgrade number 3 and maxing out at least one of your Erwins. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up right about now. And now all I'm going to do is level up the next Erwin. Erwin's purpose is basically to be our boss killer, guys. He does struggle a little bit at it, especially against like these executives and stuff. Don't get too worried. The Tokyo Ghoul map is super long, so the chances of you actually losing here are pretty slim, but this isn't my best run, so we'll see what happens. But guys, for now, as you're around wave 12, all you're going to want to do is continue to max out your Erwins. And also, if you need to, especially on a hard level like this, use Dedicate Your Hearts. You don't really have to do this too much. You can be a little lazy with it, but especially when these big tanky enemies come in, it is important. Now, once you get to around wave 13 or 14, guys, this mainly only applies on like Tokyo Ghoul and Marineford, but I do like to buy Road Roller here because units are going to start focusing the tankier guys, and there's going to be such an influx of enemies. It's good to just have one Road Roller to keep them standing still. It's mainly for the time stop, but also the huge AoE DPS is not hurt at all. And also, do your buff when you can, especially when Dio is made a Road Roller, but you're really only going to need to buy one of this upgrade. And you'll see why we're saving a lot of money for the boss fight wave, because these are the hardest parts of the strategy. Like, most of what we're doing currently is not that bad, but once you get to the boss fight, you're gonna have to be very focused. So I'll meet back with you guys now. All you want to do is keep on maxing out those Erwins, and when you get to around wave 13, you can buy a Road Roller. Okay guys, so we are now at wave 14. We're doing a much better job of enemy handling. Once you hit wave 14, turn off auto skip, okay guys? This is important on any of the harder levels. Again, Hidden Sand Marineford, you don't have to turn off auto skip, but especially if you're trying to use only legendaries to beat the Tokyo Ghoul map, you need to turn off auto skip, guys. It helps a ton. All your Erwins should be maxed by wave 14, and it can be tempting, but do not upgrade your Dios. Keep keep the one road roller Dio, keep the other 2 upgrade 3 Dios, and just wait out wave 14 till the very end. Again, don't worry too much about enemy leaks. It does matter more on Marineford and Hidden Sand, for example, because those guys, the map is shorter, but the Tokyo Ghoul map is so long that, I mean, you have so much time for Erwin to take out these enemies. So as you can see, guys, we're starting to have a lot of enemies leak through, and that is going to be the reason why we did not want to auto skip, because what's going to happen is if the boss spawns in and your Dios are not already attacking him, it will make this harder. Erwin is the main boss killer, but Dio is pretty important. So what we're going to do now here, guys, is, as you can see, we still have to deal with this executive. I completely forgot about this, but you should also probably be using Erwin buff. Had I used Erwin buff, this guy would have been much lower, so it would have just helped the process. And the next wave is about to start. So we really want to get rid of these last enemies because they're blocking our main boss killer, who's Erwin. But now for this final wave, guys, you want to keep up Erwin buff basically the entire time. Okay, have your road roller Dio help out, and hopefully you'll be able to defeat the boss. So I'll show you exactly how I go about a boss fight, and this is pretty much how you're going to want to be doing it for all of the worlds. But basically, you're going to just want to keep, doing your damage buff with Erwin. Not necessary in the lower levels, once again. And you want to get rid of all of these ghouls in the front, obviously, because the less enemies there are, the more that Erwin can do. So right now we are in a little bit of a predicament. We should still be able to beat the level. Sorry, I just hit my mic. But it's okay if the owl gets away. Now, you're going to want to pay attention to your Dio's range. Once a Dio gets out of range, like this road roller guy, he still had some range left, you can sell everything. Sell your Dios. Don't sell Erwin. Sorry, don't sell everything. You can sell some of your Dios. Now the road roller's out of range. Keep your Erwins, though. They're very important. And you should have a decent amount of cash. 35k should be more than enough. All we have to do is get rid of these subordinates. So what I like to do is I like to place a Dio. Usually I'd get them to upgrade 3, but you can also get them to upgrade 4 because we want to stall out as long as possible to get the most Erwin horses on the map. So go ahead and start sporadically placing Dios. If you're low on cash, just get them to upgrade 3 for damage, but on hard levels like Tokyo Ghoul, you need to get them to upgrade 4. This time stop is huge, guys. You can see the enemies compare the whole map. The map ends all the way over there, so we've got a lot of time. So we need to have some faith in our Dios right now. And yeah, I like to space them out just based off the range mostly, because if you guys don't know this, there is a time stop cooldown on each enemy, meaning Dio can't just spam freeze them eternally because that would be pretty overpowered. So spacing them out well is going to help. And once we take out all of these subordinates, we are going to be in for the boss fight. Now again, this is going to be why Ghoul Act 2 and Hidden Sand Act 6 are so hard, is literally just because of the fact that the bosses have so many subordinates tanking all of the hits for them. It can be such a challenge, and as you can see, that road roller just then did not time stop, which is why we're spacing these guys out so that this Dio can time stop. Remember, if an enemy gets out of range, all you're going to want to do is sell the previous Dio, and you need to continue the sell and resell process because we need to stall out as long as possible. Now, Erwin's horses only have, at least at level like 57, about 3,000 something health, meaning, and this owl is about to transform, so I'm gonna wait for that before I do any more calculations. But if you're doing the Tokyo Ghoul map with units around the same level, this is pretty much going to be the point where you're gonna start to notice that the owl should be changing forms. It should be right around this area on the map. So I forgot at what health milestone he actually changes into its final form. There it is, right there, around 53,000. And again, out of range. This Dio still in range. The sell and resell is imperative. Now, if each Erwin has about, let's see over here, 3,000 HP, and this boss has about 100,000 health, you're gonna need at least 35 something horses in order to kill the boss. And if you guys look at the map right here, this is probably gonna be 35 horses, so we basically already won. I'm just gonna cut the video and we'll see once Erwin kills him. And alrighty guys, that is going to be it. We just beat the level. So guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. It really helps me out and I appreciate the support a ton. I hope you all have an amazing day. And yeah, all you're going to want to do is place down your 3 base Dios, then you're going to farm for a bit, upgrading Dios at the same time, max out all your Erwins, get one of your Dios to Road Roller, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, it worked on the final level of the game and it should work on most levels again except Hidden Sand Act 6 and Ghoul City Act 2. But with that being said guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all later and peace.